Ninurta might have been, that's something that I noticed when I was listening and reading on a lot of stuff. Like, there's a correlation between Ninurta and Nana, because you don't hear too much about Nana, but Ninurta he's always popping up in the stories. So that kind of stuck out to me. He's regarded as the son of the chief god Enlil, and Enlil, later known as Elil, is an ancient Mesopotamian god associated with wind, air, earth, and storms. He is the first attested as chief deity of the Sumerian pantheon, but he was later worshipped by the Akkadians, Babylonians, Assyrians, and Hurrians. Now, he's regarded as the son of the chief god Enlil, and his main cult center in Sumer was the Shumisha temple in Nippur. Ningirsu was honored by King Gudea of Lagash, ruled from 2144 to 2124 BC, who rebuilt Ningirsu's temple at Lagash. Later, Ninurta became beloved by the Assyrians as a formidable warrior. The Assyrian king Ashurnasirpal II ruled 883 to 859 BC. Built a massive temple for him in Kalhu, which became his most important cult center from there on. In the epic poem Lugal-E, Ninurta slays the demon Asag using his talking mace. Now, Asag is a monstrous demon so hideous that his presence alone makes fish boil alive in the river.
Whoa.
Just makes the fish boil alive.
I know, that's crazy. Like, that's insane, you know? You gotta be one evil person.
Yep. So Ninurta slays the demon Asag using his talking mace, Sharur. And the Sharur, which means smasher of thousands, is the weapon and symbol of the god Ninurta. Now, the Sumerian mythic source describe it as an enchanted talking mace. It has been suggested as a possible precursor for similar objects in other mythology, such as Arthurian lore. Arthurian lore. That might be like King Arthur. I'm not sure.
Arthurian lore, yeah.
And Ninurta slays the demon Asag using his talking mace, Sharur, and uses stones to build the Tigris and Euphrates rivers to make them useful for irrigation. In a poem sometimes referred to as the Sumerian Georgica, Ninurta provides agricultural advice to farmers. In an Akkadian myth, he was the champion of the gods against the Anzu. Against the Anzu bird after it stole the Tablet of Destinies. Now that is a good story, and like the Tablet of Destinies is amazing. Now Anzu, also known as Zu in Mdugud, is a monster in several Mesopotamian religions. He was conceived by the pure waters of the Apsu and the wide earth, or as son of Sirius. Anzu was depicted as a massive bird who can breathe fire and water, although Anzu is alternately depicted as a lion-headed eagle. What do you think about that?
I think that's interesting. A lion-headed eagle sound
very symbolic, huh?
Yeah. And I want to see what that looks like, so I guess.
Now, the tablets of destiny in Mesopotamian mythology was envisaged as a clay tablet inscribed with cuneiform writing, also impressed with cylinder seals, which as a permanent legal document conferred upon the god Enlil his supreme authority as ruler of the universe. Okay. That's when the Anzu bird stole the Tablet of Destinies from his father Enlil. And in a myth that is alluded to in many works but never fully preserved, he killed a group of warriors known as the Slain Heroes. His major symbols were a perched bird and a plow. It has been suggested that Ninurta was the inspiration for the figure of Nimrod, a mighty hunter, who is mentioned in association with Calhu in the book of Genesis. Although the view has been disputed, he may also be mentioned in the second book of Kings under the name Nisroch. In the 19th century, Assyrian stone reliefs of winged eagle-headed figures from the temple of Ninurta at Kalu were commonly but erroneously identified as Nisroch. They appear in works of fantasy literature from the time period. So that's it. That's Ninurta. What do you think about all that?
I always learn something new from when I listen to you, especially with history. Again, for me, I'm always attempting to listen for like the correlations, and the fact that the names are so interchanging, it kind of just shows how interconnected these things are, even though we attempt to separate them and, you know, make them their own. It's just like, to me, it just shows and proves the point of being one big melting pot.
Mm-hmm. So basically, we started out with Tawadis singing the flute to Nicole, and Nicole is the counterpart to Nimgal, or Ningal, and then Ningal was Mesopotamian guarded as the wife of the moon god Nana. So then we went into Nana, who is also Sin, which that's what we were talking about. So right there, you're seeing the lineage there. You know what I mean? Like freaking, it goes from Nicole to freaking Sin through Ningal. Then from Sin you start hearing about all these other deities that we just discussed, and it's a lineage, you know what I mean? It just keeps going on. So that's pretty cool. I was always wondering, you know, what the connection was, because I knew there was. especially when you listen to the Hittite stories and the Urartu. Like, a lot of people don't realize the Urartu, they did have a lot of beliefs and stuff. Like Mithra, they practice the whole.
What's that?
You've never heard of Mithra?
Mithra? No.
Okay, we're gonna have to take care of that for you.
Mhm.
Okay, Mithra. Okay, Mithra, commonly known as Mer or Mithras, which is false. Mithra and Mithras is two different things altogether. Okay. Mithra started a lot longer ago than what Mithras was. Mithras is a Roman belief. Yeah, so
Mithra is a Roman belief.
yeah. They yeah, here we go. Mithra. Now, Mithra, commonly known as Mer or Mithras among Romans, is an ancient Iranian deity of covenants, light, oath, justice, the sun, contracts, and friendship. In addition to being the divinity of contracts, Mithra is also a judicial figure, an all-seeing protector of truth, and the guardian of cattle, the harvest, and the water. Now, the Romans attributed their Mithraic mysteries to Zoroastrian Persian sources relating to Mithra. Since the early 1970s, the dominant scholarship has noted dissimilarities between the Persian and Roman traditions, making it, at most, the result of Roman perceptions of Zoroastrian ideas. So at least they said that, because that's got to be understood. Like, the stuff the Romans believed in had absolutely nothing to do with the Persians.
It's sparklers. You know, some okay. Because the neighbors are the big ones. These look like they go home. They got a
Okay, so together with the Vedic common noun Mitra, the Avestan common noun derives from Proto-Indo-Iranian mitram or mitra, from the root mi, to bind, with tool suffix tra, causing two. Thus, etymologically, mitra mora means that which causes binding, preserved in the Avestan word for covenant, contract, and oath. In Middle Iranian languages, Middle Persian, Parthian, etc., Miora became Mer, from which New Persia, Mer, in Armenian, Uth, Muramar, ultimately derived. In Armenia is where a lot of the stuff from Mithra really came from. It migrated down into what is now called Iran. So.
Mithra. Yeah, I never even heard of that until today. But it makes sense because you said it's not real. And myth is mythology, myth. Okay, so it's just a different word for it. It's a similar word for a different culture.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot more complicated than what people think about, because like they think of Mithra and they think of it as like archaic black magic or white magic or any kind of magic, and it's not. I mean, they were very sophisticated about the way they practiced, you know what I mean? Like, way sophisticated. The Indo-Europeans, from what I found out with with them is like everything was important when it came to trying to explain stuff. You know, eventually we should get into Zoroastrianism, you know.
I feel like we started talking Zorro. When I hear Zorro, I think of the Mass Crusader Zorro. Zoroastrianism, okay.
Yeah, Zoroastrians. It's actually it's they oh sorry. they say it's a Iranian religion, but it goes farther back before Iran was even considered, you know, if it travels farther up north, you know what I mean, into the Russian steppes, and it also goes over to Afghanistan. It's known up around the Black Sea, Caspian Sea, all of that, right around where Armenia and all them countries are. It's they call it
Armenia or Romania?
Romania.
Oh, okay.
All of that. So, like Zoroastrianism is an Iranian religion and one of the world's oldest organized faith, based on teachings from the Iranian-speaking prophet Zoroaster. It has a dualist cosmology of good and evil within the framework of a monotheist ontology, and an eschatology which predicts the ultimate conquest of evil by good. Zoroastrianism exalts an uncreated and benevolent deity of wisdom known as Ahura Mazda, and that means Lord of Wisdom, as its supreme being. Historically, the unique features of Zoroastrianism, such as its monotheism, Messianism, belief of free will and judgment after death, conception of heaven, hell, angels, and demons, among other concepts, may have influenced other religions and philosophical systems, including the Abrahamic religions and Gnosticism, Northern Buddhism, and Greek philosophy. So that's kind of what they're talking about there. That's some hardcore stuff. It literally connects all of it. So, what, you ain't got nothing to say? Falling asleep?
No, I'm not falling asleep. I was just reading the multitasking. I was looking at the stuff for me to be able to post. The interview coming out with John, my whole thing botched, so I need John to do it for me. So I was listening to at the same time, and you were talking about the same exact thing you just were saying about it interconnecting.